Welcome back to the David Pakman Show. I am Farron Cousins, host of Ring of Fire and Fair and Balanced. I'm sitting in for David Pakman today. And in the previous segment, I had talked about Chris Christie allegedly surging in the polls in New Hampshire. And let's switch gears a little bit and talk about my favorite Republican candidate. Favorite only because he's such a horrible human being and I'm enjoying seeing him go down in flames. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Thanks to leaked documents, we now have Ron DeSantis' debate strategy, which of course was posted online by a group associated with Ron DeSantis, so this wasn't necessarily a leak. It was actually them saying, here you go, here's what the governor is going to do next Wednesday. And it might be one of the dumbest debate strategies I've ever seen. To sum it up, there are 4 points in this memo. Number one strategy. Attack Joe Biden and the media 3 to 5 times. I like how they're like, just do that like 3 to 5 times. Point number 2. State Governor Ron DeSantis' positive vision 2 to 3 times. Number 3. Hammer Vivek Ramaswamy in a response. Like, just find a response, work it in, go after Vivek. Number 4, defend Donald Trump in absentia in response to a Chris Christie attack. That all seems pretty dumb, but all right. All right, listen, let's break this down point by point. Attack Joe Biden and the media 3 to 5 times. Okay, makes sense, right? You're vying for the spot at the top of the Republican ticket. Joe Biden will be your Democratic opponent. You want to go after him and hit him on what? See, because that's the problem. You don't have a plan. You know you want to attack him. You're going to say, open borders. You're going to say, he's old and can't figure things out. You're going to say, oh, his son, Hunter Biden, let's mention that again. That's the 3 times I got to do. Like, that's what you're going to hit him on. So, not exactly a stellar thing. I mean, there's obviously things you could go after him for. I'm not going to give you that ammunition here, but not exactly, a home run strategy there, right? Like, attack Biden. Yeah, everybody on the stage is going to attack Biden. So that's not really original. Attack the media. Oh, okay. You're on the most watched cable news network in the country while doing the debate. So it's kind of ironic, of course, that you would attack the media for that when you're on the biggest one there is. So sure, go for it. The Republican base loves it. It's not going to win over anybody in a general election. Neither really are your attacks on Biden, because you're not going to attack him on substance. You're going to attack him on the things that are basically make-believe fantasies in Republican world. Second one, state your positive vision. Do you have a positive vision? By the way, that's not policy either. It's just positive vision. I envision an America where we don't have open borders, where we don't have Hunter Biden, where the government's not weaponized to take on Donald Trump. That's going to be his vision. Trust me. As somebody that has lived in Florida for DeSantis' entire reign of terror, there is nothing positive about anything this guy has done. So he's probably going to talk about, I kept my state open during COVID. And then he's going to omit the fact that Florida had the highest per capita death rate of COVID. So there's going to be that. He's going to talk about his banning of critical race theory, even though it wasn't being taught in grade schools here in the state of Florida. And he's going to go into some, attacks on Disney, which have all backfired on him spectacularly. And he's going to have nothing else to talk about because the man doesn't have a positive vision. And then, of course, hammer Vivek Ramaswamy. And the reason that's even in there, by the way, is because in the most recent nationwide poll, Ramaswamy has now bumped up to second place. And in New Hampshire alone, he's gone from 1% to 11% in, I believe it was an Emerson College poll. So Ramaswamy is actually, technically, I guess, the runner-up at this point, and Ron DeSantis has been bumped down to 3. But their plan is not just attack him. They have actually, in these memos, his leaked strategy, the plan is to have a nickname that they're going to launch at the debate, and it's going to either be fake Vivek or Vivek the fake, right? We're not exactly sure. Like one of those, like fake how? What does that even mean? Like he's fake. Are you saying he's not a real person? Kind of like the airplane freak out lady, like that guy's not real. I mean, what do you mean fake? Fake how? Come on, like that's not even a good nickname. Meatball Ron, on the other hand, I wholeheartedly endorse that one. And then, of course, defend Donald Trump in absentia. Yes, defend the man that has spent literally this entire year attacking you and dragging you down. Do I need to remind you, Ron, about the fact that a political action committee aligned with Donald Trump put out that uber disgusting video of the guy eating pudding with his fingers while attacking you the whole time with the voiceover? Those are Trump's friends. They hate you. They have spent the whole year hating you, making you look like an idiot. They're the reason you dropped from basically being tied with Trump to now struggling to maintain third place. And your goal is to defend him? I get why you're doing it. I 100% get why you're doing it. Because you think eventually Trump won't be the nominee and you want to get his base. Well, guess what? Ramaswamy has already done a much better job of you of defending Trump in the media. He has been cozying up to the MAGA crowd for quite some time. You're playing catch up with a group that already hates you. So defending Trump is not going to win over those people because he's already convinced them as his cult followers that they have to hate you. So that plan is going to go nowhere. And if you don't believe me, why don't you give Ted Cruz a call and talk it over with him and see how well that worked out for him? Because the answer is, it didn't. He got his butt kicked. I mean, Ted Cruz, by the way, there was a point in time, Ted Cruz was the guy to beat in 2016. For a long time, it was pretty much assumed, basically before the voting started, like Ted Cruz is going to be the one who ended up getting the nomination. And then Trump took him down. And then Ted Cruz occasionally fought back, occasionally didn't. Then, we got the humiliating picture of him on the phone banking for Donald Trump. And it didn't work out well for him defending the man that attacked his entire family tree. But if you want to go that route, you go that route, Ronnie. I'm not going to stop you, okay? Your plan will not work for one simple reason. And it's not because the MAGA base has been trained to hate you. It's not because there's not things to attack Biden on. The problem is you're not going to hit any of the points that the actual voters out there want to hear. Voters want to hear about policy. Voters want to hear not visions, but plans. And there is a world of difference between those two things. My prediction for this debate, which again is coming up this coming Wednesday, we're not going to hear policy. We're going to hear fantasy statements about open borders and Hunter Biden and, $20 million to the Biden family, but we can't quite prove it, but we know it's kind of there, maybe. And we're going to hear, we need to do this. We need to make the border not open. That's not exactly a policy because you're addressing something that doesn't exist. We need to put America first. We need to show China who's boss. We need to be tough with Putin. That is the extent of the so-called policy talk you are going to hear from these Republicans, any and all of them, at this debate next week. No real ideas, no real progress for the United States, just a bunch of weirdos who think that they're qualified to be president with no actual clue of what they would do if they were to have that power for themselves.
There's something really disturbing we've been seeing in the news lately. The FBI is now gathering huge amounts of data on everything people do on phones and computers. And here is how. Data brokers collect information about what you look at online, where you go, your political views. The FBI then buys that data to keep track of you. It is a legal gray area that the government will happily take advantage of. They don't need a court order. They just do it. But it's not just the government, because criminals can end up accessing that data and use it to target you for phishing or identity theft. Big tech companies, political campaigns can buy the data to try to influence you. But here is the solution. Our sponsor, Incogni, automatically sends data removal requests to the major data brokers who are required by law to remove your information upon request. If any of your information stays online, Incogni will even follow up with them about removing it. And Incogni keeps you updated with details at every step, so you know when everything's been removed. It is a fantastic service that I use, and my audience gets 60% off. Go to incogni.com/Pacman. Use the code Pacman. The link is down below.